Awesome. What is up, Juice Gang, and welcome to the Raysflavs radio show. This is going to be another amazing evening, so hang tight. This is going to be awesome. Our guest, I know him as a fellow streamer. He's my buddy. He streams on Twitch. I follow the show. He has amazing taste in music, obviously. Does different themes. He plays all kinds of different amazing music on Twitch. He's on there almost every day, and so he's an amazing streamer. So I know him through that. Sam Nation 3000 is his handle on Twitch. And when I first started streaming, I had no idea how to make emojis, how to do this TV. This red TV that I'm in right now is from his website. So at one point, Painting Polish was like, you got to go to this website. They've got emojis, they've got overlays. And so I went to the Sam Nation website, and they got me this killer TV that I'm in right here. Probably 1,000 people use this now, but I love this TV. I love talking through the TV. But he's got literally thousands of emojis that he's designed on his website. I used to have, I think I still have it, Billy Idol. Lionel Richie, is my favorite. Hello. Lionel Richie. I have a bunch of different stuff. Will Ferrell that I've used in the past. A bunch of stuff that I've used on this show because of my man, Sam Nation 3000. What's up, Painting Polish in the chat? Let's go. She just put up that website right there. There it is. Twitch.tv/Sam Nation. Make sure you follow Sam Nation. Like I said, he plays amazing music as well, but he helps the streamers. I don't know why. We'll figure out that as we go along here, but it's pretty awesome because we need it here on Twitch. It's crazy. So yeah, like I said, I just know him as Sam Nation, but I find out, and there's rumors that he's a graphic artist, blah 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 blah. So I'm thinking, just a guy that draw this. No. This is like a corporate graphic. This guy has worked with so many different people. You're gonna find out tonight. He's worked with Prince. He's worked with Ariana Grande. He's worked with all kinds of people. You're gonna see it. I'm gonna show his website, and it's pretty amazing. But so he's not just your simple graphic artist. There it is right there. freetwitchresources.com. That's where you get your emojis. Painting Polish put it in the chat for you guys. If you need an emoji or an overlay, hit that. Not a rumor. Is it a rumor, Painting Polish, or is it a legend? I'm not sure which one it is, but it's crazy. Anyways, without further ado, please, my friends, help me welcome Mr. Sam Jennings to the show.
Hello.
What is up, my man?
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Like I said, I listen to your show on Twitch. Are you like on almost every day? Like pretty much almost every day, huh?
Well, like my regular days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but then I join a bunch of raid trains and stuff like that. So it does seem like I'm on every day, kind of.
Right. Hell yeah. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays on Twitch. If you're not following Sam Nation 3000, I don't know what you're doing. Make sure you follow Sam Nation 3000 on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Sam Nation. The link is right there in the chat. They told me you were some kind of graphic artist. You help streamers. You create these emojis. I have no idea. I can make flyers. I can make a reel. I could do little videos. But for some reason, that little tiny emoji, I don't know the secret to it. I have no idea. I don't know how you guys do it. It's amazing. So you make amazing emojis on your website.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's freaking awesome. You get the Billy Idol, like I said, Lionel Richie. I got that red TV overlay that you made. I use that in my monologue screen.
That's awesome.
So that's freaking dope.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. But I had no idea you were like there's so much more to this. There's a web to this. You are a serious corporate graphic artist. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's correct. I started pretty young, right out of college.
Oh wow!
And right when the web is becoming a big thing, so I was doing like print and also web design, and I've been doing that for quite a while now.
Crazy. What came first, streaming or graphic arts?
Definitely graphic. When I first got onto Twitch, it was around 2020 because of the pandemic, like a lot of us. And I wasn't a streamer; I was just a listener. And then I just was hanging around a lot of streams and getting to know the streamers, and I figured out, I can make those little graphic things that are floating around. I could do that. And so I started small and started just giving them to friends. And then people kept asking for more. So I built the site to house them all.
Dude, it's freaking awesome. A ton of people use them all over Twitch. I think most people, when they first start out, at some point they're going to hear about Sam Nation 3000, and they're gonna need that emoji. Because what is the secret to that? Like it's because is it because the dimensions that Twitch wants are so hard to figure out, or am I making it harder than it is, or what is it?
Well, it's not that hard. It's really like there's size restrictions, there's file weight restrictions, and also when things get that tiny, sometimes they can be very hard to tell what they are. So it helps to like do some editing to kind of sharpen things and bring up the contrast. But yeah, it's not that hard.
Yeah,
really.
that's the biggest challenge is like you have something, you have a killer idea, like, oh, this will be a freaking dope emoji. You put it in and you finally get the right size together. You crop it out and then you put it in Twitch like too big, you can't, they don't like the certain size or something like that. So that's the hard part. Crazy. Right. But you been doing a lot of work. You personally, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. You've worked personally with musicians such as Prince, designing his first ever live album, 2001 album called One Night Alone. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Holy crap. Let me screen capture. Let me show you guys his website. There's his website. Boom. Look at this beautiful stuff. He's done stuff for Ebony Magazine. He's done a mobile. He's done apps. Look at this. Avril Lavigne, Prince, just some amazing, crazy stuff. Abby Dawn, crazy. Let's click on Prince. Let's get deeper in here. This is the one I want to talk about right here. This One Night Alone collection, this box set. Is this is the first one that he asked you to do? Is that correct?
That was the first big graphic project he asked me to do. So I put a lot of time and effort into that one.
Amazing. You've also worked with Avril Lavigne, done stuff for her as well.
I'm working with her right now.
You're working with her now. Cool.
Yeah.
Chef's new stuff coming out.
5 years. Probably.
Almost
she's going on tour this summer, and I think she's recording too.
Oh, nice. Good. Some Avril Lavigne stuff he's working on. Beautiful. Take us back, though. I know you're a painter. You do a lot of art stuff. You said you started this right out of college. Was as a kid, were you drawing? Were you always into art?
Yeah, I was always into art. I went to college at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago, so I went to study painting and design from there. So yeah, I always had an interest in it, and I just kind of lucked out that the web was becoming a thing right when I graduated. So it was something I was very interested in. So I was able to transition to a career pretty easily.
What year was this about?
This is like late 90s, around like 98.
Late 90s, 98. We're getting right into freaking DSL. Remember
yeah.
that? DSL. Uh-huh. At that time, I was actually running DSL in hotels and freaking houses. I was running. That was my day job back in the 90s. I was flying all over. I was flying all over to all Northern California, going putting in like banks, because banks. Uh-huh. Run hard on computers, so all the wires are underneath the floors and everything like crazy. So yeah, it was DSL madness back in those days. So you hit the graphics art right at the perfect time. You're just coming out of school in Chicago. What was the name of that school again?
The School of the Art Institute
School of the Art Institute.
of
And
Chicago.
damn, what a beautiful time to graduate, because right as you're getting out of school, the internet's finally fast enough to do the stuff that you probably learned in school, right?
Right, definitely. And yeah, just using the web as a design tool is another kind of tool in your artist kit to play with.
Were there any back then, if you think about it, were they I mean, obviously the web was already established, but were there still some, like, they're still sticking, like, they still, part of the class was probably like some old school techniques as well?
Yeah, definitely. It was, in building Prince's website, we were trying to distribute music there, and we had to not only take account the person with the DSL, but we also had to take account the person living in Poland or something like that, who knows what they've got as far as internet connection goes, but trying to accommodate both sides. So we'd have high resolution versions and low resolution versions that people could download. And yeah, just taking in like a wide audience, trying to appeal to a wide audience. It was crazy at how many different styles and how many different levels of technology that people were willing to go for at that time.
Wow. So back in the 90s, how did you meet? But how did you start working with Prince, by the way?
Well, it's just one of those things where, like, I knew the right people at the right time. Like I said, I was getting into the web when it was first kicking off, and so he wanted to do some web stuff, and he wasn't with a particular record label, so he's on his own, and he decided to start doing things in house. And so I got involved in a project, and then he liked what I did. He pulled me aside, said, "Let's do the MPG Music Club," which was his music service. And so that's really where things took off. And that launched in 2001.
That
went for 5 years.
2001. Okay, crazy. That makes, dude. That's like winning the lotto, because at that time, you're absolutely right. He's moving away from Warner Records. I think he was on, and so he's pissed at them. You remember the Slave on when he went to the award album. If you guys are old enough to remember that, he was pissed off at the record. He wanted to work on his own. And nobody really had done. We do that. Everybody does that now. Musicians do that all day long.
Right.
But back then, nobody was like, "I'm going to distribute my own stuff. I'm going to have my own masters. I'm going to distribute my own stuff." Because how could you? It wasn't even like you had CDs back then, so you had to like make CDs. But you guys on the those guys, the team, you figured out, like, you were like ahead of the game. Like, let's digitize some of this stuff. By the way, you couldn't even get his music unless you were in that club. Is that correct?
Yeah, there was a lot of exclusive stuff that we only put out through the club, and some of it's available now, way years later, on streaming services. But yeah, back then you couldn't get it unless you got it from us.
Yeah.
And this is before iTunes too. This is before like any other big streaming service was around.
Yeah, no iTunes, no Spotify. Nobody even thought about. I mean, they should pay Prince a little copyright for Spotify should pay him a little because he's like the first one. He was innovative in that way. You know what I mean?
Definitely the first one who like owned the whole thing. He wasn't working with a big company, or he wasn't working with just kind of signing checks. Like, he was actually involved, and it was in-house, and it was something he owned from start to finish. So that was also pretty unique and cool.
What a blessing for you, because then he pretty much, because he's so involved, he has to hire every aspect. By the way, because you're the web designer guy, he literally has to go, "Hey, Sam, can you do this for me? And how much is it going to be?" And write the check and do everything from start to finish, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was definitely kind of like he'd just come up with ideas and say, okay, he'd come to me and he'd say, "Okay, do this," and then it was up to me to figure out how to do it and who I had to talk to and who I had to kind of bring on board to help out. So it was a conduit of him, me, and then whoever else I had to get involved.
So do you think was there a lot of freedom in that respect?
Yeah, I mean, I think the end goal was the most important thing. So however we got there, and as long as he was happy, as long as the fans were happy, then it was all good.
Yeah, and I think let me ask you, was he, I mean, there's he's pretty picky, they say. Like he likes things a certain way. Is that true?
Yeah, I always say that when I was doing graphic design for him, like if he knew how to do Photoshop, he would have taken my job. Like he wanted to do it himself, but he
Yeah.
couldn't. So he had to get a guy like me to kind of be his conduit to Photoshop, so he could get exactly what he was looking for. And sometimes he'd be very like hands off, like just figure something out and show it to me. Other times he had very specific ideas, like I want this, this, and this, and show me this, and so it was a mix of things.
Wow. Yeah, it's one of those things where the guy could do anything. He could play bass, he could play violin, he could play a saxophone, he could play the drums, he could sing, he can act.
Hmm.
So I can only imagine him looking at your computer trying to learn this stuff because he's like his brain
Oh
is
yeah,
so like firing at all shots, you know what I mean?
yeah, definitely.
Crazy, crazy. Yeah, I heard a story. Something popped up the other day on Instagram where the piano player was like, "Dude, we would rehearse like 6 days a week for 5 hours for a
Hmm.
30 seconds or 30-minute slot." He's like, no,
Right.
he's like, I don't. This guy was a perfectionist, so that's why I was like, this. I mean, he must have loved you and the way you work because he's very particular, not picky,
Hmm.
particular at the style that he likes
Right.
to show.
And I didn't get in his way. If I figured at the end of the day, his name's on this thing, so like I better do what he wants and not get into any arguments or like I think we should do it this way. Like keep my sense of what's going to work visually, but also just kind of get out of his way to let him express what he wants.
Smart move.
Yeah.
What is up, Irish Eyes in the chat? DGS619. DGS619 just joined. DGS619 says, "What up, Ray? What up, Sam? Let's go." Fire in the chat. Fire in the chat. We've got Sam Nation 3000 if you're just joining us. That's right, Sam Nation 3000, your friend and mine on Twitch. We follow this guy. We love his music that he plays. We're learning about his undercover job working for Prince and all the stuff that he does as a graphic artist. It's amazing. What up, what up, what up, Irish Eyes? DGS619. Let's go. Holy moly, holy moly. So you're working with Prince on the internet side of things. He's seen your work. He loves what you're doing. Then what happens? Talk about 2001. Prince by this time is familiar with your work. Like I said, he loves your design. He decides he wants to do this box set about this live show he's doing. It's a one night alone concert series that he does, and they cut a bunch of
Yeah.
music for it. But then you've got to go through thousands of photographs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I believe the guy that took the photographs, Afshin Shahidi.
Afshin.
Afshin.
Shahidi. Yep.
So you had to go through all his photographs, those beautiful photographs that he does.
Yeah, we worked really closely on all that stuff. He would take the photos and he'd bring them to me, and I'd edit them and make Prince look pretty and all that.
Hell yeah. Yeah. Afshin, his cinematography is amazing as well. His photographs are sick. So
Yeah, he's a great guy.
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. So you got to work with that guy, working on this box set. Let me show you guys, if you guys just joined us, let me show you guys that box set again real quick. Let's go. Look at all this work that he's done with Prince. We're looking at this right here, One Night Alone collection from 2001. This right here you're looking at is the 2020 version. At some point in 2020, I think they wanted to re-release this, right, Sam?
Yeah, they started a whole bunch of legacy releases, stuff that hadn't been around in a long time. And I was lucky that they came to me and said, "Hey, like you did the original one. I'm sure you have all the material. Can you help us with this new one?" And it was really great because I got to go back and kind of fix things and move some things
Nice.
around and make it a better piece, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I even read that they were down with that was kind of the direction they wanted to go, that they wanted the same kind of original concept, but they did want to
Mm,
make it a little bit different. Was that right?
right, right. Yeah, and we did a CD package and we did a vinyl package.
That's what the sick. I love the purple vinyl.
Yeah, yeah.
You have one of those? Probably have 10,
Oh
20 of
yeah,
them.
I've got them definitely.
Nice, dude. All these DJs in the chat would love to have a purple vinyl from the One Night Alone live event. And by the way, he hadn't done any live albums up until that point in 2001. Is that correct?
Right. He had done a live video on the Purple Rain tour, but never an album.
Yeah, crazy, crazy, crazy. Sam is the man, says Irish Eyes.
All right.
Nice. Awesome. So 20 years later, Sony decides they want to re-release this album. They immediately call on you to redesign this project. So obviously Prince was happy, Sony Records was happy, seeing Sam's work, the box set, the design. I see a lot of this stuff at work, so I know what goes into it. Like the stuff that you guys do is amazing. Like cut, because the package at some point it's a flat surface, right? And then you guys got like borders, and then they cut it in a machine in the factory, and then it becomes those boxes. Yeah. So it's a lot of like ahead forward like you have to think like what this is going to look like once you cut it out and all that.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they have a lot of really good templates that help with that too.
Nice. Oh hell yeah. Crazy.
So they'll give you a template for this is how the vinyl package is going to be, and there'll be lines saying this means this. So they've been doing it a while, so they're very helpful.
That's awesome. Hell yeah. Sony's been at it forever. Crazy, crazy. There it is. Follow this. What does it say? Follow this channel. Yes, yes, yes. Follow the channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. If you're just joining us, we're Sam Nation 3000, graphic artist extraordinaire. So you've been doing this stuff for Prince. You've been doing Avril Lavigne. Who else you been doing this for?
So I've done like one-off projects for a lot of bands. I also worked for a couple years for Pearl Jam. So I was their in-house guy for a while.
Let me show them your apps that you did. Let's screen cap of that.
Yeah, we did an app for Pearl Jam based on their Backspacer album.
That looks sick. Crazy. Look at these apps. So are you familiar with the ins and outs of the apps, or just the kind of design thing?
Well, it was I didn't actually build the app. Like I'm not that heavy of a programmer, but
yes, I mean.
But I definitely guided it and art directed it and told them this needs to go here,
sick.
That kind of thing. But it was back in a time when a lot of bands were kind of doing apps. I mean, it's not really a thing anymore, but like back then, a lot of bands were doing like individual apps for their fans, and so it was a cool project.
This is really cool to see the roadmap, like how it's going to go, like home, and then goes to the music and different songs, and then tour, community. You have it laid out the way it's going to be presented. It's pretty cool.
Cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. They don't, like you said, they don't do that. The bands don't do that. I think it's because now apps are known for like it's an app. It's like, what does it do? Right. It's like if it's a gas company bill thing, you use an app for that. If you're using Instacart, it does something, right? Where if you're a band, the only thing it probably did back then is play their tunes, but then Spotify came along, and so you don't need that anymore, right?
Well, and also social media came along, like back then forums were a big thing. So we'd have community forums on our website, but then now with social media, you don't need that kind of stuff because people are freely communicating all over the place, like TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. And you have a way to get to the fans without having to go through some app or some forum website.
Oh yeah, it's just, and it's free form, and it's 24/7 now. So you're not just on the form when you can be, you're like on your phone trying to answer all the fans like 24/7 almost. You have to hire somebody now.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Irish Eyes says, amazing work. He's done a few flyers for me. Let's go. Irish Eyes has some flyers done. The flyer, by the way, for this show was done by Sam. Thank you, Sam, for doing that as well, yeah, man. Absolutely. That was awesome. Let's go. Mr. Lattenhouse in the house. He says, Mr. Lattenhouse says you're officially the president of Twitch. Is that true?
That's like an unofficial title. Sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Sam Nation is running Twitch. He's running your emojis as well. Go up high and you'll see that link that I put in the chat, that Penny Polish put the link in there for his website. Get your emojis as well. Let's go. Irish Eyes. So then in 2000, so dude, you're working. This is your day job, pretty much. You're constantly must be busy. But then, so in 2020, does it kind of slow down, and that's why you get into streaming?
Well, no, I I left Prince's group around 2007 actually. So
Oh, okay.
I left there and I kind of moved on to do other things. Went to go Seattle and work with Pearl Jam and interviewed with some other bands
Oh,
and
you went
stuff
into
like
the
that.
grunge
But
scene. You literally went to the grunge scene.
I did.
Talk
I'd
about
never been to
that.
Seattle before until I interviewed with them. But yeah, I moved there for about 8 years
8
altogether.
years, dude.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Did you have to rip your pants and all that stuff like that, and get some Pendletons?
Yeah, they handed you a flannel as soon as you walked in the
Right when you
door.
walk in the door, folded flannel, and they just say, "Put it on, put it on. It's time to
Put
go
it
to work.
on.
It's time to go to work."
Exactly.
You wouldn't recommend it though. Wouldn't recommend Gumtown, Seattle.
No, it's it's cloudy like all the time, and it's kind of drizzly, wet. So everything's like damp like all the time,
Everybody's
and it's
depressed.
not very warm. What's that?
Everybody's depressed all the time because it's always raining.
Yeah,
Down.
people aren't the friendliest, and I decided I need to get the hell out of there and move to California, where it's sunny all the time.
So originally, are you from Chicago?
I was born in San Francisco,
San
but I
Francisco.
moved to Chicago when I was 5. So I grew up in Chicago.
Grew up in Chicago, so then you go to Seattle first, and then now you're here.
Yes.
Nice,
Exactly.
crazy. Mr. Lattenhouse is trying to get himself kicked out doing caps. I don't. Do they? Yeah. Did they still kick you out on YouTube? That's awesome. Mr. Lattenhouse getting banned in YouTube. Let's go. That's the way to do it, Mr. Lattenhouse. Let's go. Cap it up. Crazy, bro. So you're in Seattle, grunging it up. Everybody's sad over there. You're like, this is too sad for me. I need to get some.
Yeah.
I need to go to Cali, baby, where it's sunshine and happy days. Right.
That's right. Well, I also took a sidetrack and got a job at Microsoft, and I worked at Microsoft for 5 years.
No way.
As a UX designer.
UX designer.
And
what's that?
user experience designer. User experience.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah. So, working on like where buttons go and apps and stuff like that, and designing those things.
What?
And that was cool. Microsoft's a great company to work for, but just the work itself was just not my thing. I was used to a different kind of vibe, and I wound up staying there so long, but then I just had to leave at some point. Actually what happened was Prince passing away is kind of what motivated me to move, because nobody expected that guy to die. Like, he had so much energy, and he felt like he was just going to outlive all of us, be playing guitar when he's like 90, sitting on a porch somewhere.
Yeah.
But like, if a guy like that can go out, just like that, and I was like, why am I wasting any of my time in a place I'm not happy with?
Wow.
So I quit and I moved down to California.
Holy moly. Where's Microsoft based? As in San Francisco?
No, they're based in Seattle.
In Seattle. Okay, crazy.
Yeah, that's why I took the job there, because I was stuck in Seattle after Pearl Jam was over, and so
That sounds like a
said, might as
movie.
well give
Stuck
that a
in
try.
Seattle when Pearl Jam is over. That happened to Sam. That's Sam's movie.
Yeah.
That's his biography.
Stranded by Pearl Jam.
Stranded by Pearl Jam, had to work at Microsoft. That's not a bad.
Have to work at
That's
Microsoft.
not a bad thing. Like you're probably making amazing money, but here's what happens in if you don't know, if you've never worked for a corporation before, you're pumping out work after work after work after work after work. There's no like, we're creating together, we're chilling, everybody's smoking whatever in the background. Maybe you're not smoking, but they're smoking. Everybody's chill. We're artsy. Everybody's chilling and we're creating. But when you're working in corporate's like work. Is that true? Yep.
Oh yeah, you constantly have evaluations and where are you going with your career and all that kind of stuff. A lot of pressure to deliver and move up the ladder and all that kind of stuff.
And then Bill Gates wants to have lunch all the time and everything like that. It's
right.
annoying, right?
He flies you out to India or something like
Flies you
that.
to India. He says, I'm going to buy all this. This is all going to be mine one day. Is that what he does?
Yeah.
Crazy. President of Microsoft. So now you're the president of Microsoft, says Irish Eyes.
All right.
Too much rain in Seattle. Is Seattle where they have the gum wall? Is that where they have the gum wall?
Yeah, they have a gum wall there.
The gum wall. I've seen pictures of it. Crazy.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting. Like I spit your gum on the floor like a regular person, for crying out loud. Freaking
don't touch it.
Starring Emilio. So DJS says that Emilio Estevez is going to play your part in your biography. Is that pretty cool or what?
Sure. Yeah. That's awesome.
Crazy. And again, it's called Stuck in Seattle because Pearl Jam ended, and now I work for Microsoft. It's a very long name, but the great news is Sam is going to do the design, so he'll fit all those letters on there. It's going to look so smooth. You're never going to notice. You're going to be like, oh, this is cool. This is freaking awesome.
We'll workshop it.
Yeah, workshop. They put it all. It'll be all in. It'll be amazing. Crazy. Hard Rain. That's right, Mr. Lattenhouse. If you're just joining us, we're with Sam Nation 3000, graphic designer for everybody in the know. Also worked for Microsoft, which we just found out as well, and pretty amazing. What does it say, Mr. Lattenhouse? Isn't that a Michael Douglas movie? Holy moly! Oh, crazy! The guys are going crazy. Morgan Freeman will play your mentor. Mr. Lighthouse is saying that Morgan,
that makes sense.
Morgan Freeman will be your art mentor. Who was your mentor when you were in school? Who was the main teacher that you remember?
The main teacher, well, my biggest inspiration was this Chicago artist named Ed Paschke, and he did these really bright, colorful faces, and that inspired me to get into like bright, colorful faces. I just was really drawn to his stuff. And he didn't teach at the School of the Art Institute, but he was around, and so I got to meet him a few times. But he was really like the one who got me interested in like doing fine art and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Well, that's good. He's going to be played by Morgan Freeman.
All right.
Okay. No matter what color he is, you don't have to tell me. Morgan Freeman's doing it. He's gonna do it. Cool.
Sure.
Crazy, dude. So you leave Seattle, the place of doom and gloom. You and by the way, you mentioned the effect that Prince's passing away had on you. You're like, dude, I'm working in this corporation. It was kind of like a what am I doing with my life sort of thing, and you just like wanted to get back into like more of the creative side of things.
Yeah, definitely. It was definitely some motivation. Like I think for a lot of people, when someone close to you passes away, you think about like, well, what am I doing? And what if I went away tomorrow and I never got to experience this, that, or the other, and you want to put yourself in a position where you're open to the experiences that you want and not forced to suffer through something just because you have to get a paycheck or something like that. Ideally. I mean, I know some people have to do that just to get by, but if I can change things and put myself in a better place where there's more opportunity that I'm looking forward to, then I'm going to do that.
And what did you do? Where did you end up first?
I just came down here without a job, without nothing.
Whoa.
I had a friend who had a room and I stayed in the room. And then that's when I got the job with Ebony Magazine.
Oh, crazy. So are you working with Ebony right now?
No, I worked with them for just about a few years. Right now I'm working with a company called Media Monks, which is in LA, which is like a creative agency.
Media Monks, fantastic. Media Monks, if you want to sponsor me, go to my DMs and hit me up. So you go from Ebony doing these beautiful magazines. Let's show the guys the Ebony shots real quick. Show you guys the Ebony shots real quick. These are beautiful. I love Ebony Magazine, by the way. Beautiful magazine. Look at this.
Yeah, I was going through a lot of transitions when I was there. Changes in management, and
oh, really?
I don't even know where they are right now.
Are they still around?
I don't know.
And this is a popular magazine for a while.
Magazine. I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, they probably went out with a newspaper or something like that, right? They don't even do it anymore. Damn, this is a dope magazine. I love that magazine. Crazy. And to work on something like this, I mean, we know you're amazing, but dude, you're working with Prince, you're working Avril Lavigne, Ebony Magazine. To the way their aesthetic is that because of you? Because theirs clean, like their way they place things, their colors, all that. Were you involved in a lot of that early on?
No, not necessarily. I did mostly web stuff for them. So they'd have ideas for like, we're going to do a site about Sidney Poitier or something like that. So I'd build that out. Or their annual event that they would have, the Power 100. I built out the sites for that. So it was a lot of that thing, but yeah, I didn't really have a lot of direction. So I just kind of, made up what I was doing and said, I think this looks good. And they agreed.
Was that because there were so many like management changes over and over again that nobody really knew who was in charge?
Yeah. And like there was a creative director, but she was focused on the magazine. So she didn't really value my time very much. So I was
Jesus.
just kind of on my own.
She thought that magazines were still going to continue, huh?
That's right.
She thought the chuck wagon was coming back or something, huh?
Uh
Crazy. It says Irish Ice says Ice Cube will play Mr. Lattenhouse, and I had somebody good. Who? Oh, Andy Garcia is going to play Raysflavs. Dude, that's freaking awesome.
Nice.
Andy Garcia is dope. I love it. I love Andy Garcia. Are you kidding me? Ebony now only digital format. So Ebony is available. Painting Polish says Ebony is available, but it's only on a digital format. So Ebony, if you want to sponsor me, hit me in the DM. We'll send you the tip. The tip. Fantastic.
right.
Crazy, dude. So you're working at Ebony. You're getting kind of a freedom sense because you really nobody knows they're in that transition. They're like, what are we gonna do? We don't know if it's a magazine still. Are they still gonna make paper? We're now it's digital, it's obvious, but back then it probably wasn't so obvious. So they were kind of like bouncing back and forth, right?
Right. Yeah. And I think, when you've been around so long, like they have, and, you have a historical context where you were a part of the civil rights movement and all this and part of Black culture.
Sure.
I think there's a tendency to not want to let go of that and to kind of keep the genie in the bottle in a sense. So I think they were struggling with identity. Like, who are we now? Who are we in the 2010s?
Right. Makes sense.
What does Ebony mean anymore? That kind of thing.
Sure, absolutely. Crazy. And then from Ebony, you go to Media Monks?
Yeah, it was when I started Ebony, I was working from home, and then I got some freelance things in between, but then I got a job with Media Monks and I also work from home for them. So I haven't actually worked in an office since Seattle.
Oh, that must be amazing. I do 2 days at home, so I love it. I love working at home.
Yeah,
because I got a bigger computer here. My computer's better here. I can work. It's so much easier here, and my office is pretty cool. But I don't know the way my computer's set up. I like it better. Crazy, dude. So you're doing all kinds of stuff, out of control.
Well, that's how I do the streaming too. Is I work from home, so I do it during my lunch break.
Oh, there you go. So you take the hour and you do the stream.
That's right.
That's awesome. So in 2020, it wasn't slow for you. You were working at Ebony. You had your job, but you're working at home and then doing the stream on the lunch break. What made you like? Because at first you were a listener when you came on Twitch, and then what made you like go? I could play music on this thing.
Well, what got me into Twitch in the first place was, all these DJs started going there because they didn't have live gigs anymore. So there was this guy, DJ Dave Paul, who I would go to his in real life gigs in Seattle all the time. And he played Prince music and Michael Jackson and stuff like that.
Nice.
And so I followed him on Facebook, and he kept saying like, "Hey, watch me on Twitch, watch me on Twitch." And I was like, "What is this Twitch thing? I don't even know what that is." So I'd go on there, and then people are throwing up pictures and throwing these things called bits and subs. I didn't know. I was really just kind of listening, not even in the chat, for like a couple months. And he mostly did 80s stuff. So then I started talking to people. I found other 80s streams. I met a lot of people, joined a few communities. And I think what really got me into streaming though was, you get to know people here and they become your friends, just like any community. And one thing that unites us all is that we're all music lovers. Like we all really love music, and it's a big part of our life, and it's important to us. And that's why we spend so much time on a platform that streams out music to us and chat with people about it. So I just felt like, I've got a lot of music that I really care about, that really is important to me, and I want to share it just like everybody else. And I could come up with some interesting shows. Like, I'm not putting a lot of pressure on myself because I'm doing like hour shows. But I could come up with something people want to listen to. And so I thought I'd give it a shot.
And you do a great job in it now, my friend. Amazing.
Thank you. It's been 4 years.
4 years. Okay, cool. Awesome. So you were on like 1 year before me. What were you like? What was I going to say? So when you first came on, okay, so how did you start going? Did you just like see people's like crappy graphics and go, I need to make that guy an emoji? I'm sorry, trying to figure out a
Yeah,
way to
pretty
say
much. Yeah.
that.
Yeah, definitely. No, I would be in people's streams and I'm like, I can make you a better version of that if you want. And or they would say, I want a Jar Jar Binks emoji, and didn't have one. I said, I can make one for you. And
Holy
so yeah, it
moly.
started out like that, just kind of helping people out, and just a few people at a time. Like at first,
Yeah.
started really small, and then it just grew and grew.
Now the whole I mean, I don't know what we would do without a Sam Nation. There's people. I mean, Painting Paula said you had the Don Johnson cutout as soon as you mentioned, as she mentioned it, you had a Don Johnson right away. I would see people like, I would see her come into my stream and I would mention like Aretha Franklin. She'd pop it up. I'm like, where are you getting all this stuff? And it's Sam Nation, Sam Nation. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to keep coming up with new ones. I gotta kind of rack my brain, like what haven't I done yet? What haven't I made an emote of?
Look at this. Look at this. Look at
Yeah,
this.
right.
Here's some inspiration right here. Look at this. Look at this.
That's right.
Like the New Wave Freestyle Flyers. Let's go crazy. So, but so there must have been, like, obviously you're working for Prince, music, right? You're working for Avril Lavigne, music, right? Pearl Jam. There must have been, before you, like, think about, like, even before you started working for musicians, were you always just like super into music?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was a big part of my life, and I was also a huge Prince fan. Like
Oh, before you even met him?
he's like, before I met him, like he was my number one guy. Like I had all the records. I was listening to him all the time. Saw him live a bunch of times. So that's what kind of got me into that universe, that sort of orbit around him. Is just being a huge fan, but also having something to offer. Like I wasn't just going, "Oh, you're so great, I love you." Said I can contribute. I can add something to this.
Add something to the bit. That's awesome. Yeah, because like,
Yeah, but Prince is really the one that kicked the door open for me.
crazy, dude. So it was meant to be, because you don't want somebody that's working on your website that's like, I don't even like Prince. I don't know why I'm doing this. Like they're just clicking away
Right.
on the keyboard. And the same thing for Pearl Jam, right? You're not going to live with Pearl Jam in the freaking gutter up there and say, sorry, shut up. But you're not going to live with that band for 8 years unless you like the music, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it helps. There's nobody like Prince, but there's definitely a lot of bands that I really would like to work with if I ever had the opportunity.
There you go.
I like having that direct
Sam Nation
relationship.
3000.
Yeah, I like having that direct one-on-one relationship with an artist. Work with them and get things to where they want it to be. I like artists who do things in-house.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think well, you know the difference, right? You've sat in corporate offices and had to work for the corporates. So you're not looking for that. You're looking for people that want to be creative, they want to collaborate and do some things
definitely
together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. You too? Did she say, do you like you too?
Yeah, I really like you too a lot.
Painting Paula
Definitely.
says that you should work for you too.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm not moving to Ireland though, but maybe I should after
Move
all the
to
craziness
Ireland.
going on.
Yeah, you got to move to Ireland. There's no tariffs in Ireland. There's only tariffs here in the United States. The freaking tariffs.
Yeah.
What do you think, Irish Side? Should he move over to Ireland to work with you too? They probably have an island in Ireland. U2, the YouTube band.
They probably all live like in Paris or something like that. Anyway,
They probably don't even live in
they probably
Ireland.
probably don't even live there anymore.
They're like, we're tired of Ireland. We lived there when we were kids. Forget about that place. We're going to Paris. And one of us is going to live in Australia. It's okay. And we'll throw the Edge out there. Edge don't mind Australia. Crazy, my friend. Out of control. You do amazing streams. You love music. You're in the perfect position to work with musicians because you love the music. You're an artist. It just was made to be. What you do is like what you're meant to do, my man.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I feel that way, definitely.
Crazy. What's next on the agenda for you?
I don't know. I guess, things are so crazy in the outside world. It's kind of hard to predict the future. about where the industry is going to be, where I'm going to be. I like the company I work with now, so I'm hoping I can stay there for a long time. I like streaming on Twitch. I want to keep doing that and keep improving, and still come up with more emotes too. But as far as like long term,
Dude,
something will come up.
how can you like exactly like there's so much shit stuff chaoticness out there. You can't be like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna do this. In 5 years, I have a 5 year. There's no 5 year plan anymore. There's a 5 minute plan.
No.
If you got if you can figure out your first 5 minutes, you're good. You're golden.
Yeah, totally.
Crazy life. Any shows you want to announce or anything like that?
Yeah, I've been doing this 80s pop bracket challenge lately.
Bracket.
Yeah, where I take like a bracket like March Madness, and I assign bands to each seed, and they battle each other, and then they get down to the final four, and then the championship. And so tomorrow is one of the final four battles between Prince and Madonna.
Prince versus Madonna. Dang, how do you do that? I mean, Prince is a genius, obviously. Madonna was hot back in the day. I mean, how do you pick? It's amazing. How do you do? Yeah, how's it scored? Are the polls going on, or chat going on, or what's going on?
Yeah. So what I do is I do 9 rounds, and I play one song from each group. And during the second song, I put a poll up, and everyone votes for which song they like better, and then add it up at the end.
Perfect. You do a poll and they get to vote. That's freaking awesome. Prince gonna win it all. Bet all Irish money. Betting it all. They're making bets in the chat. They're gambling in the chat for Prince. Prince versus Madonna.
Prince kind of has an edge. Where my crowd's a little biased.
Yeah, everybody in your crowd likes Prince. Prince is a genius. Crazy. So this is tomorrow?
Yes, tomorrow, 1:00.
Tomorrow, 1:00 PST time. Finally, somebody with my time. You freaking Easterners, you East and Midwest Coast people, my friends over there. 1 p.m. PST. We got Sam Nation 3000 doing the 80s pop bracket, and it's going to be Prince versus Madonna tomorrow night at tomorrow day at 1 p.m. Let's see here. What is the next team going to be? It's going to be Prince versus Madonna, ladies and gentlemen. Prince versus Madonna.
And then if he wins, he goes up against Michael Jackson.
Damn, Michael Jackson
Prince
at the
versus
top?
Michael Jackson.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he made it all the way to the top.
Yeah, if there's a top, if there's somebody that you want to get to, strive to be at the very top, that makes the mountain of music. When I see it in my head and I imagine it, I see Michael Jackson like in his bad outfit like this, going, yep. You want to come up here? What's the deal? What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? That makes total sense. That's the heavyweight bout. DJ619 says that's the heavyweight bout right there. Prince versus Madonna, and then the final will be versus Michael Jackson. Holy moly!
Most likely, yeah.
Who's bad?
Most likely Prince.
You should just call that "Who's Bad."
Yeah.
DJ says Madonna will keep it close. Depends on what song she's matched up at. If you play Like a Virgin, that's a left hook. Like a Virgin's a good left hook. You know what I mean? Madonna might, give Prince a little run for his money.
She might get a few points.
Yeah, she might get a few points. She might get a few points, in that ring. It's going to be a battle. Tomorrow night, make sure you follow Sam Nation 3000 on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Sam Nation. Hit them up tomorrow at 1 p.m. Get a feel for if you've never seen the show, you're going to love the show. Get over there to the Sam Nation channel. And this is going to be a freaking bracket, an 80s bracket, so a special show. He does a lot of themes. He does Blondie nights. He does freaking Prince nights. He does a Weird Al. No, you don't do Weird Al, but he does a bunch of awesome theme nights over at the Sam Nation show. Baby Boss loves Weird Al. Crazy, my friend. Thank you so much for popping in and talking to us.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Anytime you want to come back, you just let me know. Okay.
All right. Cool. Sounds
Awesome,
good.
my brother. Guys, make sure you follow Sam Nation 3000 on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/Sam Nation. Tomorrow night, I keep saying night because I love the night. 1 p.m. is the bracket battle, Prince versus Madonna. And eventually I can't wait to see this. I can't wait to see who wins, Prince or Madonna. And then they get to battle Michael Jackson. Are you kidding me? If you're not following Sam Nation, I don't know what you're doing. Juice Gang Gang, stay thirsty and not dangerous. Have a great one.